There we are. Yes, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. And we are back. Here we are together again. Of course, we were together last week, but it's always a special occasion to be live with these ladies here. I must say. And so, of course, let me make sure I point the right way. Yes, I did it right the first time.
Awesome.
Over here
It's
in
only taken a year.
I know it's only taken a year because everything's backwards, folks. The camera's all backwards.
Yeah.
And then live down under, we of course have Dr. Lena Rodriguez with us as well this evening. As usual, the ladies do not know what's coming up. And let me tell you, I've got the questions in, the notes in, and everything like that.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's going to be quite a show tonight. Just to give you, we're going to be talking a bit about the UK, some very interesting developments. We're going to be talking about Missouri. We're going to be talking about Duck L'Orange. We're going to be talking about Canada.
We're going around the world. Love that.
Yeah, we really are globetrotting this evening. So it's going to be a very.
We should get frequent flyer points on the esoteric aeroplane.
That's true. And we're going to be traveling some distances, folks, on the esoteric aeroplane this evening. So for those of you who are joining us, welcome. Many of you are in the chat already. If you'd like to support the channel and you've not subscribed already, please do. It would be wonderful. It really helps the channel reach more people. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you've not subscribed to either Lena or Lady G yet, then their details are in the video description below. Also, for those that are curious, Santa Fe, it's happening next week. It launches. So for those of you who maybe haven't registered your interest yet, or you're curious about it, that is in the video description as well. You've got the basic page for now, and then it's going to update with a more detailed blurb. But anyway, more on that to come. Ladies, how's your week been before we start the show? Anything you want to share with the audience?
Well, here in Australia, we had Australia Day, which is a legendary excuse for rampant alcoholism. But I talked about the meanings behind Australia Day on my last video. So if people haven't seen it, I do devote a few minutes to it. So I'd recommend you have a look, because we have a very strange history. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, very interesting one, isn't it? With the arrival and then the people who were already there, of course. Australia wasn't empty, folks, by the way.
No.
Just in case you weren't sure. It wasn't empty. Lady G, anything you'd like to share with us? What have the puppies been up to this week?
Oh, well, they've been enjoying time out. We've been going on a lot of walks and a lot of things. Smell-o-vision, it's big with their work. But this week is coming up. Miss Lily has to get spayed. So, yeah.
Oh, that's not fun.
No. Poor Miss Lily. It's coming up on the 30th. So countdown is on.
Yeah. Yes, these things, but necessary and all of that stuff, and pets as well. I mean, as we know, they're almost as expensive as children. So when the children start having children, then it can be a problem. Okay. So are we ready to start the show? We've got quite a few questions, so we'll just go at our usual ballot.
Let's get motoring.
All right, let's get started. So here we are. Question number one. We're going in the esoteric airplane. We're starting off in America, and then we're going to dot around a bit. And we're going to go to Missouri to talk about Lincoln University. Very sad, actually quite tragic development in this. I'm not so familiar with the story. Maybe, ladies, you might know more about it. But here, this question fleshes it out. This is coming from Honey Born, or Honey BWN. Anyway, so she says, hi, Hogarth and ladies. Could you please do a reading on Lincoln University in Missouri and see if the university's president will keep his job after, sadly, the death of senior vice president of student affairs? don't know if you've heard about this. She's called Dr. Antoinette, or was also known as Bonnie Bailey, and sadly she took her own life on January 8th, 2024. So, and it goes on to say, in an email sent to friends and President Moseley, Dr. Bailey detailed how the request for accommodations due to anxiety and depression was denied and was weaponized by the president against her, allegedly. Dr. Bailey was also an alumna of the university. Current students and alumni are calling for the removal of the president. So will the president and the board be removed after the evaluation by the third-party investigation?
That's not pretty. So basically she felt bullied and unsupported, yeah?
And it seems she communicated, was talking about depression, feeling obviously psychologically and emotionally distressed, and actually has gone as far to write an email before her tragic death to actually outline this. So that's really sad, isn't it? My goodness.
And thank you to Mary Fritz. Thank you for that donation, Mary. Very generous.
What already? Oh yeah, let's click on that. Thank you, Mary. Gosh, we're just getting warmed up. Thank you so much. And just so you know, any donations that you give as well, they are shared with the ladies. Yeah. So and it's much appreciated. Much appreciated. All right, let's have a look. How tragic. My goodness.
Awful.
I mean, I have sometimes wondered, you know, when a person takes their own life, from the outside looking in, you might think, well, gosh, it seems such an extreme thing to do. Wouldn't it be better to have left, or, you know, something like that? But for some people, their jobs really do become their life and their reputation. So what's the thing again? Let me just check. Will the president and the board be removed after the evaluation by the third-party investigation? Let's see.
Removed. Well, I can start if you like, Hoagie.
Go for it. Go for it.
Now, this is, I think, the president and the board going at it, you know, denying responsibility, denying a connection between these things, all of that. But the little birds here in this page, the news is getting out, whether they like it or not. They were trying to control the narrative. This is a disaster for them, and obviously for her too. I think some people will be shunted, possibly the president. I don't know how academic boards work exactly in the US, but I think with these two side by side, I think someone will have to take the fall, if you like, because the Hierophant is also here, meaning the case will be discussed fully and possibly legally. But actually, it's her legacy that's important here. I think this is her looking at the Pentacle, and it will lead to some changes in that institution, and other people will pick up on her cause. In other words, her name won't be forgotten, I think, in that institution.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, the overriding thing was her feeling, you know, just absolutely tied up with the whole thing. At the center of what's crossing it is, you know, what action she took. There's investigation into what was given or not given. Going into it, they're juggling this and looking at what she was holding to. The letter above it, we have he was in charge, and this manipulation that took place with it. Yeah. The challenge is, you know, this dark night of what happened, and the outcome is going to have to be moving. It's a tower moment when it his message. And then I pulled some clarifiers as well. They just want to get this move forward because of this death.
Yeah.
It's an end for the president because of all of this stuff that's still up in the air. He wants to hold on, but he's going to have to leave. Exit.
Fascinating. Yeah, my cards are interesting as well, and tell actually quite a clear story here. So the cards I've got here are the Six of Cups, and we know the Six of Cups is normally associated with the past, with nostalgia and stuff like that. I think sort of like tuning in, I think this has a lot as well to do with her emotions as well, and or maybe even referring to a kind of a lack of nurturing, a lack of support in this fashion, because we all know that the cups are always about emotions. If we look here, major arcana here, we got the Temperance card, but the Temperance card is technically turned up in the obstacle position. So this can speak about a lack of chemistry, things not working. You know, it's like one of my analogies is you try and start the car engine and it doesn't get going. So this is actually reflecting on this Six of Cups, which is normally quite a nice card, but just saying, look, that it wasn't working, the energy wasn't working, if we imagine it this way. So I think this is speaking about her feelings, how she was treated historically, not feeling good about that, and the sense of disharmony and discord that she felt she had to deal with, because obviously she wrote an email about it. However, it looks like some kind of action will be taken. We've got the Knight of Wands here in the middle. This is, you know, kind of rearing up. This could also speak about the energy of the young people, maybe students, stuff like that. It seems like she was very beloved, this person. So I think this is the action that's probably taking place, and, you know, this investigation that's going on into what? A patriarch, a man in leadership. Yeah. So of course this has to be, you know, who we spoke about. Sorry, his name's just escaped me. But anyway, the guy in charge, about his future. And then the outcome card here we see is one of celebration. So it seems like, yes, potentially he may have to step down or move aside in order for people to maybe kind of celebrate that happening, and hopefully remember the positive contribution as well of this person who sadly took their own life. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No, but I think these problems are in all institutions, and chronic bullying by management is a crisis, I think. And so many get swept under the carpet. So I hope this doesn't. I'm sure that's their first reflex. Sweep it under the carpet. But she left that trail of emails.
Yeah, indeed. And would you also agree, Lena, from what I've heard, academia seems to be an extraordinarily competitive place and full of quite a lot of egos. Would you say that's right? And Lady G, would you agree?
But it's not. It used to be about education. Well, those days have long gone. They're run as businesses, and it shows.
Yeah.
You know, so you just have these bean counters taking up academic positions. Oh, don't start me or we'll lose the hour. Let's move on.
No problem. All right, let's go then to question number 2. Because I've realized I've scribbled everything down here. So question number 2, actually, I wasn't expecting to, I forgot I'd put this as number 2. So question here is, these have come in from Teresa Campbell, who's basically given us a whole show.
Okay.
A whole show's worth. So one of the things she said was, she was saying a thank you with the astrology reading that I gave her, which encouraged her to go to Peru. So she's going to be going to Machu Picchu on some adventure and stuff. She saved up for a while and stuff like that. But then she asked all these questions. So this one here is, it's a good one. I thought maybe we can do a 1-card pull on this. I don't think it needs to be a full card pull, but will E Jean Carrol see any of the money awarded to her?
Yeah.
which the new award is on top of the 5 million that she was awarded from what my research I could see is $83.3 million.
Yeah, but you know, these settlements are eye-watering, but I think they'd be better off going lower and making them pay than doing it.
So let's see. We'll do a one card pull because I think it's a one card pull could cover this. Let's see. Will E Jean Carrol actually get the payout? I guess the same thing could be said for Giuliani as well, but that's a different matter anyway. Will she get the payout? All right. We got our cards. All right. After 3. 1, 2, 3.
What did I get? Oh, 6 Pentacles. So I think she'll get something. This is a compromise, and it'll take a while, etc. Yeah.
She'll get something. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Yeah, very strong position. Yeah, she's got it coming. That's it. She's not going to back off with anything. And I guarantee you this is not Lena Haba.
There's another question actually coming up, and here, I mean, if you look at my card, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, isn't it? We see the lady here in wealth. All of her needs are met. Sometimes I call this card the hostess with the mostess. So at the very least, yes, she's going to get satisfaction. How much Duc L'Orange how much money he'll have left by the time he's been rinsed out by this whole process remains to be seen. But it looks
also there is a financial monitor now, isn't there, because of New York? So there's more chance people will get this. And as I understand it, if he appeals, he has to put up quite a big bond on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got to put up the money, or he has to put up property that's not mortgaged or liened or anything as a security. So yeah, he's in deep doo-doo.
Wow. Well, there we are. And I would also say then, by that extension, Melania, get your divorce papers ready now before all the money's gone.
What is she waiting for? She should just take her jewelry box and move. No sympathy.
I don't know what she's waiting for, because by the time these guys are done with him, his pockets are going to be looking dry, particularly if there's all of these guarantor stuff. Interesting that.
Now, Kathleen O'Malley was saying, Lena, 45 will get his base to pay the settlement and the dunces will. Maybe not. It takes a lot of $20 donations to get 85 mil. I think they'll make a dent in it or whatever. But how do they reconcile? He's the big guy. I'm so rich, and he keeps saying Mar-a-Lago and everywhere's worth $3 billion, all these stupid things, and yet he hasn't got the money. So
I know.
Yeah, support your local billionaire. They need the shirt.
Yes, I love that.
What did you say, Lady G?
Peons, support your local billionaire. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
that should be a Lincoln Project ad.
Yeah, and he's like anyone. I've got a gold toilet seat, but you got any coin for me, please?
And he's always played both sides, and it's now coming to look really stupid.
It's astonishing.
But I'm wondering, because somebody was saying that he cannot fundraise off of that and use that kind of money for this kind of payout. Some lawyer was saying that.
But that's never stopped him. The fact it might be illegal to do that. But yeah, I heard that too, Lady G.
Yeah, so I'm wondering
if that's part of law.
Right.
Well, you know what will happen is the money will come in. Like I said, his gift is grift. Duc L'Orange, mark my words, is going to be the only person as well who will be able to grift from the grave. I guarantee you.
Yes,
he's probably got something lined up, for whenever it is, some pre-recorded tapes that he's going to put. Honestly, it's just astonishing.
Oh, I love this comment from Linda Bishop. Will he spray paint in gold his name on the bridge he'll be living under? I love the image.
That's a cracker. That's a cracker. Oh,
awesome, Linda. Yeah, thank you. Also, Edie's here and Celtic Sheila. Hi.
Hello, folks. Oh my goodness! And we've got some.
Thank you, Michael Grant, for tuning in. He's another loyal viewer, and we have legal discussions on email. Thank you,
really? Trish said, "I hope Melania gets nothing." I mean, she needs to hurry up. She needs to join that queue before.
Look, she could auction off the jacket, the I don't care jacket. You know, she'll get a couple of mil.
A little bit of money. And remember the NFTs with her eyes. Do you remember that? There's the NFTs with her eyes.
She could have Melania paper towels. They'd be good.
Well, I mean, one thing I can say is that, you know, wherever she decides to go in the world, you know, if it's cheaper than where she's currently living, she'll probably manage just about. I'm sure she's got some.
Please spare me.
Lined up. All right, are we ready for the next question? All right, now this is a much more serious one. I don't know if you guys have seen this, and this is something that's really built up a bit of a head of steam in the last few days. And I should just say as well, there's over 1,400 of you with us live now. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I hope you're enjoying the show as well. And happy Sunday as well to everyone who might be watching us on Sunday. It's many of you do. All right. Okay. So 2 people asked about this. One was Elazoy, and the other one was @ZZ. And I'm going to read out at ZZ's because it really encompasses the content of both questions.
Sorry, Hoagie, I'll just translate. For Americans, that's Z.
Oh, yeah.
Australia and the UK say Z. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. ZZ.
No, people should know about Zs. Go the Zs.
Okay. So this question really covers kind of like both elements here. So now we've gone in our esoteric aeroplane and we're actually in the UK here. Listen to this. See what you think, ladies. Hi, Hogarth and ladies. There's concerning narratives building up in the UK news. LBC, which is a very well-known radio station over here. Lena will know this station. LBC reported this week that the head of the British Army said the British public may have to be called to fight as citizens in an increasing threat of war by Russia. Well, let's carry on. Let's take this with a little pinch of salt. I know, it's just like, what? And then she goes, the person, I don't know if it's he or she, but the person says, Boris then came out and pledged he'll sign up to a citizen army to fight Russia. Because, you know, I know, like, he took out a big article in the paper. I mean, can you believe it?
I know the man's name is Boris. That's a clue to the family history. Let's move on from there.
Exactly. So the trolley, or the mop, as I often like to refer to him, is saying that he wants to fight as a citizen in war. All right. Anyway, a debate has also been sparked regarding UK compulsory military service. So they are actually talking about this. I know we're in Alice in Wonderland, aren't we? I have to carry on, but it's just like, what? Today, the Telegraph reported that the USA plans to station its nuclear warheads in UK RAF bases. This is true. And allegedly, they are 3 times the strength of the Hiroshima bomb. In fact, one commentator was saying 20 times the strength. So due to this increasing threat from Russia, they say. The Telegraph in another article reported Britain's collapsing birth rate could lose us the next world war. God, I forgot she said that. It feels like the world is spinning off its axis. My question is, who is driving these provocative narratives? Who really is it that wants this war?
Question.
Is it the West or Russia? Now, I think that's a good question, isn't it?
I think it's a great question.
There, so thanks for that, ZZ or ZZ. Juicy. All right, let's shuffle on this.
Yeah. So who's driving this? You'd have to say it's an hysterical reaction, regardless of Russian aggression in the Ukraine or how you see it or whatever. This is another dimension.
It's a bit much, and I think even Putinska is kind of like raising an eyebrow, going like, "Really?" You know, I think even he would be. I mean, besides, if he bombed London, that would kill half the population of Russia anyway. If in terms of oligarchy, he'll kill all his friends. They're all in Chelsea. Sorry.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he wants to get rid of the oligarchs, and he thought, "I know, I'll bomb London."
I'll bomb London. Oh God! I mean, we're cackling, but I mean, the world has gone bonkers, hasn't it? All
crazy.
You know, I'm tuning in, and even when I'm doing a little tune in to Putinska, and I just see him going like this, I think even he's like, really. It does feel. I think hysterical is the right word. It just feels bizarre. Oh, interesting. Okay, who's ready to go?
Oh, I am. We will find out with the sun. We will find out who's behind this. I got the Hangman here. So we won't find out straight away, but we will find out in time. Interesting, but you got it reversed. I think it's an element here of sacrifice in the sense of panic. I then get oppression and interference. These are the tough cards, and they're quite intense visually. But I heard Ukraine. I heard quite clearly Ukraine. I think this is perhaps a disinformation campaign trying to demonize Russia as if it needs more demonizing in the West. And I think it may or may not be Ukraine, but it could be support for Ukraine if they can make the West scared of Russia and want to attack Russia. It helps their cause. Just saying.
Wow. Well, yeah, but as you know, we're free to speak here on this show and give our intuition and the psychic hits that we get.
Just an impression. I'm just saying.
Wow, fascinating. And you know, there is logic to that because there are threats of funding being cut and stuff like that. So not implausible. Lady G, what do you have? What do you get from your card?
The overarching thing here we have is, of course, the papal thing, and so I would say it's somebody that they are looking to that's in power. What's crossing it is they don't like the seeds and the harvest that's coming. It's somebody of wealth and power that's underneath of it sees this as a tower moment, trying to create a tower moment in the past, something that's been juggled, and now the wheel is turning. So they're looking above it at the new action that they're putting out there to the people to draw them in. The challenge is to get them to see from a different viewpoint, and it's the outcome is the wealthy, you know, that want to, again, we're back to the papal and walking away from this, having to walk in distance. But I put some clarifiers. And it's the history of the argument in the uber right. Somebody from the uber right side that is doing it to create this chaos.
Oh my gosh, I've got goosebumps. Goosebumps. Very interesting cards, ladies, and that's food for thought, because obviously I'm here in the UK. Wow. Wow. So just to add a little sixpence on top of that, I made some extra notes here. No, actually, I'll read my cards first, and then I'll give you the little extra tidbit that I came up in my research. So what's this about? Well, you know, and this is actually very relevant here. The card that I get up here, look, it is the Five of Pentacles. And when I tell you that little extra tidbit that I will after I read this card, after I read the cards, this card will make a lot more sense. So in a way, if we think about this, thinking about what you said, Lena, and thinking about what you said, Lady G, I think that if we go with the Ukraine angle, there is a genuine fear that the money will run out, isn't there?
I can see the logic of this.
It makes sense, doesn't it? In like just intuitively here, this is the fear. So if I were Zelensky, I'd be very worried because, as we know, we know that the administration, or you know, the political temperature seems to have changed politically somewhat, but also as well there is definite war fatigue in the world. So this is suggesting maybe the funding for the war, or you know, and stuff like that could be under threat. If we look here in the obstacle position, we actually get the Justice card kind of turn up here. When it's the right way up, you know, there's justice, fair trial, etc., and stuff like that. But we can consider this in the reversed position. So this can speak about injustice or cruelty, or maybe some way trying to subvert the natural law and order. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Then look at that, I get the Hangman as well. So all three of us have got the Hanged Man on this reading. That is far beyond coincidence for all of us to get the same card. And I've got it here reversed as well. So what this speaks to me about is the entrenchment, the stalemate it seems to be in the war in Ukraine. There doesn't seem, there's not a clear winner, has there?
Exactly. Yeah. And I doubt there will be either.
Yeah. Because all three of us have got the Hanged Man, and we know that situation, it's not improved. Remember, there was the big push for spring, Russia saying we're going to win, Ukraine says we're going to win, and it's just ended up being what? This Hanged Man situation.
Stalemate. It's a stalemate.
That's stalemate, isn't it? Quite literally. There we are. It's causing tremendous pain and agony to absolutely everyone. Yeah, absolutely everyone. Russia's in pain, Ukraine's in pain, the whole world's in pain, because it's just like, will this ever end? Will this ever end? And obviously there is an element here within sections, and I think the two of you have probably picked up more on what's pushing behind it. And then my outcome card here is Temperance. So this is a kind of, I think this is an attempt at a rebalancing of the narrative. I use the analogy of when the Temperance card is reversed, like the engine not being able to start. This is them doing new alchemy here. And the reason why I interpret it that way, so with my extra notes, I put here, Boris says he'll want to fight, but I put here, one commentator says it could be a drive for recruitment. So this guy, a man called Stephen Carlton Woods, because he said the army targets are off by 6% and they are really struggling with recruitment. Isn't that interesting? Another thing, the Tories are doing terribly and they fear oblivion. And what's the classic thing that desperate governments always try and do? When they're doing really bad and everyone's hating on them, war. Just putting it out there. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Not at this point.
No.
Interesting that, isn't it? I think the cards were very revealing. Very revealing. It's this is more. It's looking like it's more about recruitment and the politics of things, and yeah, it's a bit extreme. Okay, are we ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go for it. Okay, so let's go now to question number 4. And oh gosh, there's almost 1,700 of you with us this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really do appreciate. Big love. All right, so let's go to question number 4. What's written here? Oh God, here we go. Will Biden win on the border impasse with Republicans, or will Trump continue to weaponize immigrants? Great question, eh? Great question.
Which planets? I'll use one world. So,
oh, I've got a jumper.
Okay, what's your jumper, doll?
Oh, look at that. The Hermit. All right, that's going to symbolize what the reading is about. There's a lot going on with the border, folks. You've heard me mention it before in the astrology, and don't forget that eclipse coming through. I think someone asked about that eclipse. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can squeeze in that Texas question later. Okay. Biden the border. Will it be passed?
Well, here's the thing, isn't it? It's like each government runs on anti-immigration. That's in America, it's in Australia, it's in the UK. It's the vibe behind Brexit was, keep those people out and all of that stuff. Why I'm saying all that is I think it's a perennial issue, and we, in all those different countries, need to look at the bigger issue instead of this Band-Aid and this nasty repressive law. And, so there's not much difference between the sides. No one is effectively processing people who are coming to their borders, So, having said that, I think it'll be agreed to some extent, but no one will be happy. It won't be all that Biden wants, and it certainly won't be what the GOP wants. There'll be a legal and extended either legal discussion, or it could be what's left of Congress talking about it. But we will be judged. This is the judgment card, and again, I use it in the collective in this sense. We will be judged if we don't come up with a strategy about how to humanely deal with this issue.
Interessante, lady.
Yes. Not a happy woo, yes.
Right. Maybe a contentious yes. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, I think she got the long range thing, but mine is going into what's going on now, which the House wants to hang it up because they see from a different viewpoint of, this is their argument, this is their mentality they're putting out and what they're building, because, the abuse of power, Trump, that's what he wants to run on, that the Democrats are not doing anything. Biden wants to do it, but he wants to hurt them. So you don't do anything in the House to aid Biden. Okay. So the past we have, very emotional issue as to what's being held on to. There are those that want to aid it. There are a few Republicans that want to help, but we have this nightmare scenario of sleepless nights and the pain of it all. because the challenge is they want to hang it up, they want to tie it up. When it comes to an action, the message of action, they are all in assent for the most part when it comes to what's being offered with the message. And the message is, this is what Trump wants to run on, so hijack it. Don't let anything happen with the border issue because we want to see that Biden refuses to do anything. Yeah.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Yes, my card's interesting as well. I just wanted to do a few read-ups here. So people saying thumbs up for our people. Thank you, Jean. That's very sweet. We also, look, Foggy, thank you so much for your donations.
Every week she donates.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and look, she wasn't done with that. She just threw in a bit more as well. Thank you. And so did Claudia Dobson. Thank you so much for your generous donation as well. Much appreciated. And okay, the cards that I've got here now. I've been banging on about the border for a while. As you guys know, last year's last set of eclipses went through Texas and across America that way, and the new eclipse season, which starts on the 8th of April this year, goes across the other way. Yes, it goes that way and the other way. That's happening on the 8th of April, and they both go through Texas. X marks the spot.
Texas.
Quite literally. In February, this is something I've been forgetting to say, early or to mid-February, the Pluto return of the United States becomes exact. Exact. So, and then it's at sometime in April, I think it's around the 20th of April, Jupiter and Uranus will come together exactly, and a comet will be passing between the two. So I've been thinking this borders, Texas is going to do something crazy, and we've got another Texas thingy bob coming up, but this is a contentious point, and it's become a real, what we would say in the UK, a real political football. Anyway, let me read my cards. So first of all, the card that fell out was the Hermit. So there's deep soul searching and rummaging around going on this about what to actually do. I think this applies to the Democrats and the GOP equally. The Democrats realize this is an issue. It is a thorny issue because, you know, so many people are talking about it. But then the GOP here are also reflecting, because of the reasons like you guys said, they don't want to be seen to be helping Biden. You see, that's always the problem, because then it draws the sting, and then obviously Duck L'Orange can't run on it. So, you know, they're strategizing with this. Here is the legalities, but also the discussions. Swords also as well deal with the mind. They deal with the element of air, and the element of air is always about communication. So, of course, here, legalities, legal issues. Texas will be doing its stuff. In the obstacle position here, we see the emotions. You know, the emotions are overflowing. It is a very emotive issue, and people aren't necessarily going to be very rational when they're talking about the border. Yeah, because this is turned up in the obstacle. What to do? Everyone's torn. What to do? You know, everyone knows that's an issue, but what is the best way to fix it? This is the thing, like Lena was saying, and Lady G, there needs to be a consensus in some kind of way to deal with it humanely that satisfies everyone, or as much as possible. This is a big old cycle. This has been going on for a while, but this can also talk as well about the internationalism at the border, because as many people, some politicians would like to have everyone believe that everyone is from Mexico. No, not necessarily. There's lots of people from all over the world, but this is also something the whole world is looking at, because this is also talking about the vision of America in the eyes of the world, which has always been seen as this open and welcoming place. So this is dealing with big cycles and just saying, yeah, it's a big issue. And then the outcome card here is the Hierophant. So, of course, again, government, structures, The GOP are wanting to kind of be like, oh, we're going to be strict and we're going to build the wall and, you know, maintain our traditions, because of course the Hierophant does deal a lot with traditions and stuff like that, talking about American culture, etc. But then on the other hand, this could also be as well, how does this current administration or future administrations deal with this effectively? So I think there's going to have to be some kind of laws and legislation that come out. But I think it's a very contentious issue. I'm not sure if it will be agreed because the emotions and the indecision are too high. That's my instinct.
Yeah,
Anything
nothing gets resolved. Yeah, I want to add something to that. I read this morning and there was a headline saying Christian groups have moved themselves to the border. And I naively thought for a moment, I thought, oh, they're taking food to the exhausted asylum seekers. They're bringing clothes for the children. But you'd be wrong. No, it's a citizen army to keep them out. So this is another sinister development where all this John Wayne, sort of stuff gets fused in with this very primitive form of Christianity that is popular in America, you know.
Well, the Hierophant is the Pope after all. It does deal with traditions, doctrine as well, can also deal with dogma and religiosity as well. Wow.
And there are some elements in MAGA saying, now, Jesus was weak. Yeah. They've gone so far down the rabbit hole. There's evangelical pastors who are now trying to backpedal and say, I've got people coming to me saying, Jesus was weak.
Yeah, one of the evangelicals was teaching on the Sermon on the Mount, and they go, why are you bringing that liberal crap in here with this?
No.
That woke liberal crap.
I know, you thought you were across it, weren't you, Hoagie? But it's just...
I don't even know what to say.
There is no...
Do you know what? Look, this is time for Shakespeare. Let's see what the Bard has to say about the radical evangelical movement, because that for me is jaw-dropping.
Even 5 years ago, that would not have happened, even with the most out there evangelicals.
That is just like, wow. Someone starts talking about the preaching of Jesus, and someone says, take that liberal rubbish out of me. Whose turn is it?
Pluto return, right? This is it. Pluto
return can be about the utter madness of that. Only Pluto can do this. And we're going to see more.
Because it's powerful enough to shift these really powerful mindsets. Yeah. Good, bad, or ugly. It gets in there.
It drags it up, and it's the deep subconscious as well of the collective. So a lot of people start acting out. Whose turn is it to? Was it Lady G that did it? Lena, I think it's you.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is the Bard. Now, just a caveat here. This is not an insult to people that are pious, religious, and stuff like that. We're talking about the radical, frothing at the mouth type. Who are going to the border. All right, Lena, tell me where to stop and we'll get the Bard's opinion on this.
Ready, stop.
This is really interesting. This is from the Merchant of Venice. This is what the Bard has to say about these radicals, who've gone down to the border with, pitchforks and stun rods or whatever it is, and barbed wire most probably. Let's see what they've got.
Razor wire.
So this is what the Bard has to say. It says, the villainy you teach me, I will execute. and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. How interesting.
That's profound, isn't it?
Mm,
I have to read that again. Look,
yeah.
Yeah, I've
the
got a thought
bard
on it.
never fails,
Wow.
but let's just read that again. And this is about the evangelicals that we're talking about. The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction.
Right. So if you look at it, it's saying this stuff they've been fed for the last 5 years, going down this poison path, and you could argue 205 years, down this poison path, they're going to take it further and
Yeah.
further, better the
I mean,
instruction
even more egregious than that.
than
Yeah.
you could dream.
Yeah.
Astonishing, isn't it?
I
The
think
bard
it's
never fails.
absolutely, because that's very unlike the ones we usually
Yeah,
get.
the ones we normally get. You would have thought he would have just cussed them out outright. No, went straight to the
And
side.
speaks to instruction, which is about the
Yeah,
religious instruction. It's
exactly.
speaking as a collective.
Yeah, exactly, because it says the villainy you teach me, I
Yeah.
will execute. Wow.
Wow.
I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it even stronger. Than what you
Even
did.
stronger. I'm off to the border as we speak.
I mean, let us know what you think in the comments, folks, about that. But Shakespeare is just like a bolt of lightning. I can't even say any more of that. That's just astonishing.
No.
Let me just do some click ups here. My head is still spinning from that.
I
That is
know.
extreme. Wow. Catherine Bush, thank you so
Catherine.
much for your donation. Robin, thank you so much. Annie Hamlet, thank you so much. Tribal Woman, thank you so much. Here as well, Maxine Razzola, thank you so much. And BJ's Esoteric Musings, thank you so much.
I love the name.
I love that name.
Great name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Fabulous. Right. Okay. Let's giddy up. Oh, I'm still processing what the bard has just said. Wow. Okay. So now we need question number 5. Oh, Lena, you might find this a little bit more titillating than usual.
I'm intrigued, Hoagie.
All right. Here we go. We are jumping in our esoteric plane and we're going aeroplane and we're going to Canada. So we know that sometimes this can be hot territory. Canada might be a cool place, but there can be steam bubbling underneath. But I think we've kind of back in the good graces of most Canadians now, but let's see after this. Anyway, so there is quite a bit of raised eyebrow and consternation at Justin Trudeau. But why? The reason why is because he recently went on a trip that allegedly costs $162,000 for a luxury private chef and staff all included jaunt in Jamaica.
Oh.
Yeah. And this was I found this. It was on Global News. I don't know what their affiliation is, but anyway, it's a proper news channel. And my goodness, there's over 1,800 of you here joining us now live. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate it. So I watched a bit of the ding dong. So it's linked in the video below. You can see it for yourself, where Trudeau is having to defend himself in Parliament. So he was being accused by Pierre Poilievre. He's the leader of the opposition, something like that. Anyway, so leader of the opposition grills Trudeau on villa, which costs $9,000 per night. Trudeau says it was the product of 50 years of friendship. Yeah, that's why he got it for free. Anyway, rather than political influence and stuff like that. So the question here is, will this impact Trudeau in the polls and possibly affect the result of the election?
Well, we'll go there. But here's the thing.
What are your thoughts?
I've got layers of thoughts on it. Those of you who have followed me for a long time will know I really hate nepotism and dynastic families. I really struggle with that. He is the son of Pierre Trudeau, you know. So in essence, Canada has had a Trudeau, you know. They're both handsome, suave men. So it's amazing what we forgive when someone's a cutie. Okay. Now, I don't know enough about Canadian politics, but I have a couple of regular Canadians who keep me updated. He's in trouble before this, but sorry to hog the time, but I'll just say one more thing. How dare any leader in this time keep doing this stuff? I don't care what side of the fence you're on. How dare you? You know?
$162,000.
How could you even manage to spend that? In how many days?
No, the thing is, he didn't spend it. It was gifted.
Well,
that was the equivalent. Apparently, this place he stayed in was $9,000 per night.
Oh, look, it's just obscene.
Sorry, I'm going to keep stum. When I saw that, I was like, we have to read on that. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe my cards. All right, ladies, who's ready to go?
I can go.
Go,
Lady G.
Well, the overriding thing is this is toxic.
Look.
It's not going to bode well. It's going to hurt him, definitely, about the money situation. Of course, he's trying to hold on, but they say this is an abuse of power. In the past, we see them going, and but now they don't like the harvest that's coming out. They're going to block this and go forward, you know, with club in hand when it comes to it. The challenge is his, you know, being able to hold on, but this is the burden at the end of the day. He's out in the cold and going to have to walk away. He's done. This has killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
Lena. Yeah. Ouch. Ouch.
I think,
Lena, what do you have?
Well, let me start here. The first card he gets is the Judgment card. So this is going to rankle people. Is this an election year in Canada? Can people let us know?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, uber dumb to do it in an election year. Okay. And it will be noticed and it'll be publicized endlessly because it's grift for your enemies. Couldn't you wait and have a holiday? I'm sorry. Shut up, Lena.
I'm going to search it.
Then he gets the Temperance card, which for me is, I think people will be really angry now. They will also not forget, but they have to weigh up other things like what the opposition is offering in real life and stuff. So there'll be that temperance energy. But people are a bit sick because Canadians are struggling like everywhere else. They've got the Nine of Cups here, which is normally the good life in other decks. But you notice this with the genie flying out here, leaving the person sort of on the ground. It's a slightly different interpretation of that Nine of Cups. It's like you were so confident you didn't think anything could touch you, which was a mistake. Then we have the Seven of Cups. I think it's very hard for Canadians this election to decide what to do. Canadians, please give us info on this. And the outcome was the Three of Wands, which is waiting for your ship to come in. I think it's that thing. I don't think he actually wants to necessarily be there anymore either. Two-edged sword. So I'm sorry, if you don't want to be there, you should have left a year ago, giving a new person 2 years to groom in. So much as I love him as an individual compared with most world leaders, I don't think he's handled this well at all.
Right. And just to give you a little update, so I did a quick Google.
Yeah, good.
So 2024, it seems the main general election, it's saying 2025. However, there are a lot of elections in Canada this year. I can't read them all, but they start. So January 10th, we've already had one. 13th, so British Columbia, so Alberta, British Columbia, municipal, I can't even say the word, by-election. 21st of January has just happened. January 28th, and then it goes February provincial by-election. So there's like all these by-elections. I can't read it out because the list is too long. But
there's
look,
a lot going on. Yeah,
there's like all of this year going all the way till October, going all the way until October 19th, Nova Scotia municipal elections. October 21st, New Brunswick general election. October 28th, Saskatchewan general election. So, and then going back, it says here the 45th Canadian federal election will take place before October 2020, before October 20th, 2025, to elect members of the House of Commons. So either way, it's a pretty crucial year. Let's see. Oh my gosh, the time's gone so quick. So yeah, look what turns up. The smug merchant. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the energy around him.
It's the energy around him. Now, this is for those learning tarot, as Lena would say, this is the wish fulfillment card. Where your hopes, dreams, and desires come true. So obviously, if you're on an all expenses paid, a $164,000 trip to Jamaica, you're going to be feeling pretty smug with yourself, aren't you? As you dangle your feet in your infinity pool and you look over the blissful oasis that awaits you as your private chef brings you all the food and the masseuse rubs your toes and what.
And you can't see the poverty.
Oh, absolutely. He's being accused of being out of touch, but here we are. So the shadow of this card, though, as well can be the smug merchant. So they're even saying actually that on a more serious note, even Trudeau's allies are saying, dude, not good, especially in such crucial electoral kind of times. It doesn't make sense, does it? Couldn't help himself, bless. Anyway, so here we see, oh dear, the quandary. This has turned up in the obstacle position. So this is not only not being sure what to do, the blindfolds are on. People were probably thinking what were you thinking? Are you blind?
Yes.
How do you realize how this would look? Yeah. Oops. Here he is, Trudeau, in the middle of it, trying to come forward with his arguments. This is what I saw him doing in Parliament. You'll see it on the video when you look in the video description. But look, it's a page. Pages are all about messages, but this isn't a king or an emperor. It's kind of making him look a bit diminished, I think, in people's eyes. And when I was looking at him, I mean, he's a good orator, but you could feel he didn't have the moral high ground. My opinion, but see it for yourself. Anyway, the world's looking, and look, what does the world also talk about? The ending of cycles and new beginnings. This could be a big cycle coming to an end. Maybe this might be the last Trudeau for a while. I don't know how many children he has, but this might be the last Trudeau in for a while if he doesn't make it. In regards to what? Look at the outcome card. Trying to get away with something. And what was really interesting was that the opposition actually said to him, that Trudeau was actually found guilty of taking $250,000 vacation. So this is $250,000 vacation, which was also gifted to him by a billionaire that wanted preferential rights on government contracts.
Yeah.
Look, of course, and this is happening everywhere. This should be a perk after you've retired, after you've been at you've got these associations, not while you are serving the people.
Yeah. most people normally go on the speaking tours and stuff, like you said, and they cash in afterwards. But it is a bit, yes, it's very, very interesting. But
On the nose.
Indeed.
And the problem is he's handing it to the opposition, who are horrendous for Canada.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that is, you're going to make your political gains where they come, isn't it? And if your opposition gives you such sweet fruit, you're gonna make a cocktail out of it, aren't you? So there you are, folks. Let us know what you think in the comments. Canadians, let us know what you think. How do you feel about this rather extravagant trip that Trudeau has taken, when many people are struggling with the cost of living, of course? But it's not an isolated incident. Clearly, there's all of this stuff that's been going on. So anyway, the time has vanished. Ladies, we're already over. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I think it was almost 1,900 of you in the end. So thank you so much. It's much appreciated. Happy Sunday to everyone as well. If you've not joined or subscribed yet, please do so. It will help the channel grow. If you'd like to support HoGaLe's, and if you want to support the ladies as well, their links are in the video description as well. Thank you to everyone who donated. Wonderful. I think there is a couple of more came in. So Ernie's mom.
Oh, Ernie's mum.
Thank you. And
I've
Ellie
got one more comment, Hoagie. Sorry.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Marjorie says here, this year is an important election year worldwide. 64 countries have elections this year.
Wow.
Wow. You see, huge. And as I was saying before in my kind of 2024 predictions, expect the unexpected, folks. By the time this all shakes out, it could look very different, not only in America, Canada, but the whole world, it seems. UK as well. I mean, the Tories could get obliterated, obviously, so maybe that's why the war machine is kind of going. They're trying to save themselves, because they are detested over here. Anyway, the time has vanished. Everyone, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us live, so many of you. And I would love to have been able to get through more comments, but, such was the content of the show. Hope you enjoyed it all. And we will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye for now. Big love.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.